So Kids Meals is utilizing volunteers just like me and you. We have about 20 to 40,000 volunteers every year on-site and off-site that are preparing meals for kids, and we're taking it directly to their doorsteps. And so we are committed to helping end childhood hunger in Houston.
Welcome to An Ounce of Prevention, the podcast. At our Reese Associates, we believe that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Our daily commitment lies in informing our clients about legal risks without hindering their business objectives. As we like to say, we're in the business of building companies and helping executives sleep at night. So stay tuned. Maybe you'll learn something that'll help your business grow and thrive.
Welcome to An Ounce of Prevention, where we believe an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I'm your special host, Morgan Gilmore, and today we continue our three-part series on the nonprofit organizations we'll be featuring at the Dealmakers Haunted Hall and A&D Halloween Gala on October 23rd. But before we get into that, we'll take a brief break and jump into our case law update.
And now it's time for another case law update. Today, we're discussing Bang versus Continental Resources, Inc., a North Dakota Supreme Court decision involving a dispute between the parties over a 2004 oil and gas lease and a saltwater pipeline. Here's what happened. The Bangs own the property in this dispute, including the surface and mineral estate. In 2004, John Bang executed an oil and gas lease with a company whose successor is Continental Resources. Because Continental holds the mineral lease, Continental informed the Bangs it would be constructing oil and gas facilities on the property, which included a saltwater pipeline corridor, well pads, and other associated facilities. The pipeline at issue would be transporting produced water away from the well site. The Bangs objected, and in 2022, filed a lawsuit against Continental alleging trespass and seeking an injunction and damages. Continental filed a countersuit and sought an injunction to prohibit interference with its operations and the installation of the pipeline. In 2024, the district court granted Continental partial summary judgment, ruling that Continental had the right to install a pipeline corridor with its attendant facilities and denying the Bangs' claims for trespass and injunction. The court relied on the language of the lease, which provided that the lessor granted the land for the purpose of mining, exploring, operating, and producing oil and gas, along with the rights of way and easements for laying pipelines and erection of structures to produce, save, and take care of said products. The court went on to state that the Bangs did not show that the transportation of production and salt water is not reasonably necessary to develop and produce minerals, and concluded that the lease's language may not explicitly allow saltwater pipelines, but the language did not forbid it, as the language was permissive, not restrictive. The Bangs appealed. The core issue on appeal was whether the lease's language allowed Continental to install the saltwater pipeline. The Bangs argued that the lower court erred in concluding that Continental had the right to install saltwater pipeline facilities on the property, and instead, the lease explicitly only grants an authority to lay a specific kind of pipeline, one that transports oil and gas, not produced water. In response, the North Dakota Supreme Court ruled that its prior decision in a previous case was relevant. In the preceding case, the same language was at issue as the language in the Bang case. The court held that the language was unambiguous and found that nothing in the lease's broad language indicated a desire to exclude the lessee's use of a temporary lay-flat hose, which it determined imposed a similar burden on the surface property as a pipeline used to transport oil, gas, or other products. Because nothing in the 2004 lease's broad language indicates a desire to exclude saltwater pipelines, just like nothing in the prior case's lease stated a desire to exclude lay-flat hoses, the North Dakota Supreme Court concluded the lease allowed Continental to install a saltwater pipeline on the property and upheld the district court's ruling. So why should you care? The acquisition, use, and disposal of water is becoming a larger problem for all operators, as more water is needed for larger fracs and more wastewater is being produced. It's important to stay abreast of how each state is ruling on all the different issues that are starting to arise from the use, production, and disposal of water. For another interesting case on the subject, check out episode 10, where we talk about the Cactus Water case in Texas. That's it for this case law update. I'd like to thank Francis Warden and Kanika Draksharam, law clerks in our Denver and Houston offices, for their help on this update. I hope you found this episode informative. Thanks for listening.
I'm joined today by Beth Harp, CEO of Kids Meals, Inc. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
So for our listeners who have never heard about Kids Meals before, give us a little overview of the organization.
Kids Meals was started as is a small nonprofit organization in 2006. We only had 2 vans and very few employees, and we were serving about 800 kids a day. It really was born out of a vision of a lady that saw the need for basic nutrition for preschool-aged children that are living in food insecure homes, that are living in severe poverty. And it was started because she saw some kids digging out of a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
And the organization today, thanks to the support of our community donors and volunteers that make it happen, has grown into serving 56 zip codes across Harris and Montgomery counties. And we serve an average of about 9,000 preschool-aged children each weekday. And we are bringing a healthy meal directly to the homes, apartments, and trailers, and some low-income preschools to make sure they have at least one healthy meal each weekday.
That's fantastic. So how did you join the organization?
I've been in the nonprofit space most of my working life. And 17 years ago, I had a friend who was on the board of Kids Meals when the organization was reforming, who called me and asked me to go out on a ride, to go out to deliver meals to hungry preschool-aged children. So we were located in the Garden Oaks area at that time. So we went just not even a mile from where the office was. And there was this hedge on the street that you didn't even know anything was behind it. Mm-hmm. We drove in, and all of a sudden we were in a trailer park. And I really thought we were in a third world country. And I've grown up in Houston. I've served in Houston in the nonprofit space, and I had never seen anything like it. Just the poverty was so heartbreaking. What I saw were little kids sitting on their little makeshift stairs attached to the trailer parks. And I saw kids chasing our vans just to get a healthy meal. And most impactful was when we stopped and honked the horn. I saw little kids, 5 and under, running up to a van to get a healthy meal, just running like they were going to get a Christmas present.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe it. I'd never seen that kind of hunger. So I was invited to come and join the staff at that time to help with fundraising, events. We didn't have any events at the time, public relations, and grant writing.
Like you said, you'd been working in the Houston area. This is in Garden Oaks. It's not an area that's too far away, and you don't even realize the poverty or the need that's right underneath us. And so, yeah, that's amazing to see that impact.
You know, there's so many areas of Houston where there's pockets of poverty. And like you said, you just don't even realize they're there. And it is heartbreaking to realize that children are suffering and many kids are just unsure of where their next meal is coming from. So Kids Meals is utilizing volunteers just like me and you. We have about 20 to 40,000 volunteers every year on-site and off-site that are preparing meals for kids, and we're taking it directly to their doorsteps. And so we are committed to helping end childhood hunger in Houston.
That's amazing. Well, that was my next question is how do our listeners get involved? So from an individual standpoint, you can go and volunteer at some of these facilities?
Yes, we just moved. We moved into our new facility, which is in the Spring Branch area at Hammerly and Hollister, and anyone can volunteer. They can go to our website at kidsmealsinc.org and go to the Take Action tab, and they can sign up for a time that's convenient for them. We actually have 2 shifts every day, a morning shift and an afternoon shift, and we really encourage people to come with their companies, their organizations, their church or their synagogue, or they can come individually. We have some people that love helping kids so much that they actually come weekly. We have some people that come every other day because they love this volunteer work. And I'll tell you why. Because when you volunteer at Kids Meals, you're preparing meals or making sandwiches or helping in our warehouse. And you know the work is so impactful that you know that those meals that you're preparing are going to be in the hands of a hungry child within 24 to 48 hours. And you can feel so good about that contribution that you're giving back. And the groups that we have that come with different companies, they love to do it for team building.
I was going to say, it sounds like a great team building activity.
It really is. And we make sure that we make it fun. We'll do all types of activities where you can work together as a team. and we have fun music in there. You can wear a styling hairnet if you don't bring your own cap.
Okay.
And we even have groups, different companies that come in and have competitions and see how many meals they can make. So we really try to make it a fun, impactful opportunity. And in our new building, we have the opportunity to take it to the next step. So we have what's called conference and education centers in the building where companies can book this room either before their volunteer shift or after, and they can come and have a team building meeting.
Okay, great.
While they're already there on our site.
Oh, that's fantastic. I heard you talking about what, folks dressing up when they come out for their volunteer shifts. I'm glad to know you're already thinking about costumes. Do you have a costume in mind for this event?
Well, when I saw that question, I thought that is so funny because Kids Meals for years has had a trunk or treat for our families. And a lot of our families and kids don't get to enjoy the Halloween holiday because the neighborhoods aren't safe. And so every year that I've gone to our trunk or treat, I've always dressed up like some sort of food. So last year I was milk.
Good staple.
And the year before I was pizza. So might do something fun like some sort of food item. But we're so grateful to be benefiting from the gala.
Well, we're very excited to have you there. And so for the folks that are going to attend, please stop by. Make sure you come and introduce yourself to Beth and see how you can get involved. And so do you have a trunk or treat coming up this year?
We do. We actually have a trunk or treat that's coming up. I think it's October 28th. And we do it at a Knights of Columbus building. And any company can participate. This is so fun. You can sign up to participate, and you can actually decorate a trunk and then dress in theme to match your trunk and bring out treats for the kids. We have music. We have DJs. We have dancing for the kids. We all have all types of games and activities for the kids. And it really, I have to tell you, it's one of my favorite days of the year. Just to see the joy on these children's faces and the parents, how appreciative they are of getting to enjoy the Halloween holiday in a safe space. And Kids Meals takes it even a step further. We invite other nonprofit organizations that can offer services to our families, and they come out and do an activity for kids. So we really try to make it such a memorable day for the families and would invite any companies that are listening today that are interested in that to reach out to us if they'd like to have a trunk.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think I could have said it better myself, but we're going to create memories. We're going to do it for good cause. So come to our event on the 23rd, come to their event on the 28th. So before we wrap up today, we're going to do Okra-style voting during the event. So all the event attendees will have a chance to cast their vote for the organization of choice. So if I can leave the listeners with one last statement, why should they cast their vote for Kids Meals?
Kids Meals is the nation's only home delivery service for preschool-age children that are living in severe poverty. And many of these kids, they're really suffering, and food insecurity can cause all types of lifelong illnesses. And Kids Meals is determined to make sure these kids have the nutrition they need daily so that they can grow and learn and be ready for school. And we would encourage anybody to vote for us because you can know that your dollars are going to make a huge difference. And your vote's going to make a huge difference. Kids Meals is committed to providing a meal delivered to a child's home in need for less than $2 a day. And that's the all-in organization cost. That's not just the food. That is our vans, our drivers, our whole facility, the food, the gas, insurance, the building, everything. And our board and our staff are committed to using donor dollars efficiently. And we do it every year. And if anybody wants to come visit and see what we're doing, I would invite them. But please vote for Kids Meals.
Absolutely. Well, the good news is every organization is going to go home with something. So
Yes.
we're really pleased to kind of bring this sort of event to our crowd, our industry, our clients. And I'm very glad I was able to meet Kids Meals. So we were introduced to your organization through another industry event, the MARC conference.
Oh, yes.
Does
Yes.
one. And, we've watched the way you all manage the organization and deploy your dollars in the community. So,
Well, thank you. And, Kids Meals doesn't exist without the support of the community and the volunteers in the community. So we are so grateful for this opportunity to work with you on this wonderful event.
Excellent. Thanks, Beth, for joining today.
Thank you.
If you would like to attend the Dealmakers Haunted Hall and A&D Halloween Gala, tickets are now on sale. Visit rreeselaw.com. And don't forget to stop by and visit Kids Meals, Impact to Hero, and CompuDot during the event to learn more about their impact on the Houston community.
Greetings, ghouls, ghosts, and most importantly, Dealmakers. If you're heading to Houston this October, mark your calendars because you won't want to miss this. Join us on October 23rd for RRNA's inaugural Dealmakers Haunted Hall Halloween Gala, where the A&D community comes together for a night of networking and meaningful impact. Now, if you are looking at the calendar, you already know that this week is packed with high-caliber events. There's the SPE Annual Technical Conference from October 20th through the 22nd, the Minerals and Non-Op Assembly on October 21st, the North American Capitol Assembly on October 22nd and 23rd, and of course, the Women's A&D Luncheon on the 23rd. So why not cap off the week in style with our event the night of the 23rd? Get ready for all the fun activities. We have poker, karaoke, multiple bars, and don't miss the show-stopping costume contest. Come dressed to win. Tickets are on sale now, and if you won't want to miss this eerie evening of industry magic. Individual tickets are just $200, so grab yours early and save your spot in the Haunted Hall. Bringing your deal-making team? Go for the squad ticket. Just $1,000 for 6 tickets, perfect for teams, friend groups, and partners in crime. Visit www.rreeselaw.com to secure your tickets before they vanish into the night. There are also still sponsorships available. Interested in sponsoring this year's event? We'd love to have you on board. Visit our website for details or reach out directly to explore how you can be part of the magic.
The information and material in this episode is general information about our practice and firm and is for educational and informational purposes only. This information does not offer specific legal advice, and the use of this information does not create an attorney-client relationship with RRNA or any of its attorneys. The information in this episode, or any episode of An Ounce of Prevention, should not be considered legal advice, and persons should not act upon this information without first engaging professional legal counsel.
Thank you for listening to An Ounce of Prevention, presented by Reese Associates. If you found this episode informative, subscribe to, rate, and review our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to stay up to date with future episodes, case law updates, and breaking news. If you have any questions or are interested in learning what RRNA's outsourced legal department can do for your company, reach out to us at podcast@rreeselaw.com. That's podcast@rreeselaw.com. Follow us on LinkedIn or call 832-831-2289.